Hey, lovely listeners. All right, so it is that time of year. And by that time of year, I mean the hardest time of year probably for most dieters, with the holidays, with Thanksgiving, with holiday parties, with drinks and desserts and all the things around. So listen, I recorded this episode for you to navigate those tough areas. This is not about dieting. This is just about being smart by not feeling like you need to restrict and hold back, but being able to enjoy, but in a really healthy way. So enjoy this episode. Let me know your feedback, your comments. We always continue the conversation over on our Facebook group, Healthy Weight Loss Tips for Busy Women. So head on over there to share your feedback and let me know what you think. And if you feel so kind to, you can leave a rating or review, which is always so greatly appreciated. All right, guys, enjoy the episode. Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. This, if you did not know, or maybe this is your first episode, this is the Oh How Healthy podcast with your host, Jamie Zwier. And I'm so pleased that you're here. If you're listening, I know you're invested in your health, in your wellness, in your well-being. You're possibly interested in ditching your diet for good. Maybe you have kids and you're looking forward to creating a healthier lifestyle for yourself. In this episode, I'm going to share about 10 or 11 tips or so, just quick tips that I use and that I recommend to my clients to use throughout this holiday season. So number one is the mindset piece. I always talk about mindset. And when we think about Thanksgiving, we're like, oh my goodness, all this food and all these overwhelming amount of treats and desserts and all of that stuff. When we think like that, it can be overwhelming. But really, Thanksgiving is nothing but another dinner. Parties are nothing but an event to get together and enjoy friends and family. So when you think of it just like another dinner, it kind of takes the pressure and the anxiety off. I know that there's a lot more food around, but just go into it, treat it like a dinner, maybe a dinner where you are not eating the healthiest foods, but that's okay. Like, go into it, know it's a celebration, know you're going to eat foods that you may not be used to eating all the time, and it's okay. It's a holiday, it happens once a year, and it's all right. So tip number 2 is stay hydrated. Stay hydrated always. Always be drinking enough water, especially going into parties or events where you may confuse thirst for hunger. So just make sure you're hydrated all day. Make sure to drink about half of your body weight in ounces of water. So as a mental reminder, maybe carry around a water bottle that you're not used to carrying around. If you're not someone that drinks water frequently, add some lemon to your water. Just get that water in so that you can stay hydrated and feel a little bit more prepared for the day. All right, tip number 3 is get some sort of physical activity in, whether you're just walking your dog, whether you're doing some light stretching, yoga, some workouts at the gym. Get something in before you go to the event. It just makes you feel a little bit better. I know that there's this is not a science-based podcast, and I don't pretend like I know the science behind it. But when you fuel your muscles, when you're moving your body, you're allowed to expend a little bit more energy and take in a little bit more calories because you're burning calories. But really, the way that I think about it is that when you're moving your body, you're going to be less likely to sabotage yourself. You're going to know that you did something good for yourself. You're going to feel good. You're going to release endorphins, and it's just going to be a great start to your day. And also, when you're at the gym, you're typically drinking more water. So that goes to tip number 2, and you're getting more hydration in. Tip number 4 is eat before you go. This may sound counterintuitive, but this is something that I always do. I know that I'm probably hungry. I'm always like a hungry kind of person. So I'm probably really hungry dinner time. There's probably going to be appetizers there as soon as I get there. So what I do is I will eat something before I go. Typically, I might microwave like a sweet potato, something that I know that is filling, saute some spinach, add that on top, maybe grab just a quick, whatever it is that I have, and eat that before I go, so I'm not showing up at the party starving and just dive into the crab dip or the bread and the butter. So that's just like one other little tip that I like to stick to, something that I always do. And just be careful that, if you go to a party and you know that that crab dip is your favorite part and you really can't wait to indulge in it, and you might indulge in it anyway, then just indulge in it. It's okay. Again, this is a holiday and it's not the end of the world, but you don't want to go ahead and eat something before you go and then have the bread and the butter or the crab dip anyway. So, play it by ear. Maybe before you go, instead of having something as filling as a sweet potato, maybe you can have something like just a sauteed spinach or just an apple or something like that. Tip number 5 is pack your favorite guilty indulgence when you go to a holiday party or a holiday dinner. So something that I like to do, I know that I like to indulge in stuffing, and I know that stuffing at the Thanksgiving Day table is not always the healthiest. It's usually not, probably has dairy in it, and it probably is not gluten-free, and not that those are mandatory things in my diet, but I know that might cause my belly to be upset or whatever the thing is. So I will make a healthier version of that recipe, and whatever it is that you like, whether it's cranberry sauce, whether it is a dessert, whether it's the stuffing, you can pretty much search online, and I have a lot of recipes that I can share, which I'll link my newsletter below in the show notes to share with you some of my favorite Thanksgiving Day recipes that are a little bit healthier than the traditional version. But anyway, I like to make a lentil stuffing recipe that is a little bit healthier, and sometimes the people that at the party will like to try too, and then you encourage them to try something new and a little bit healthier. So I will, when I get to the party, I'll of course have whatever it is that I made, and then have a little bit of the stuffing that I usually love, or maybe not at all. So whatever it is that you really indulge in, whether it's the dessert, pumpkin pie is your thing, then even if you make traditional pumpkin pie at home, it's going to be a little bit better than the processed store-bought or whatever kind of pumpkin pie that might be at the party. You never know, so just be armed with either a healthier version or homemade version of your favorite indulgence. Hey everyone, I just wanted to interject here for 1 second. So maybe you're listening to this episode and you're feeling a bit overwhelmed. Maybe you want to start eating healthier and you just don't know where to start. Or maybe you just feel overwhelmed by all the different diets on the market and programs in the market, especially this time of year. We're going to get inundated with all of the diets come January. So I want to let you know about a Black Friday sale that I am hosting. I want you to check back in on Black Friday and Cyber Monday, because I'm sharing a never before seen price for my Oh How Healthy Insiders membership that provides you ready for this? You get for $49 a month, you get a whole food inspired meal plan, and you get access to all the previous months. You get an affordable grocery list, which should only cost you about $100 every time you go to the store. This will feed a family of 2 to 3. You're going to get access to simple recipes, the whole meal plan, all super simple recipes, literally the most easy things you will ever see, like really fun and creative meals so that you're not eating chicken and broccoli every single night. And also for the month of December, we're adding the calorie count to each meal plan. So it's literally a no-brainer to lose weight. You get access to quick cooking demos, me preparing every single meal in the meal plan in 5 to 6 minutes. You get weekly live coaching calls so you can get those questions answered, work through a struggle, ask a simple question, whatever you're experiencing, a private community to connect with like-minded, supportive women, and the best part is you can win your money back every single month. So it costs $49 to join. You can win a $50 gift card every single month just by participating in the challenge, which is simply sharing photos of your healthy food swaps, not even things from the exact meal plan. And for this month only, for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, we're hosting a sale that has never been seen before and won't be seen again. And for this sale, it's going to be half off the join for your first month. So for $25, you get access to everything you want. There's no contract, no obligation. You can join and cancel whenever you like. So do not miss out on this. The website is ohhowhealthy.com, ohhowhealthy.com. And the link will be in the show notes, and you just click on the Oh How Healthy Insiders tab. All the details will be right there on how to join, and you'll get instant access to all the things that I just mentioned. All right, guys, see you on the inside. Enjoy the rest of the episode. So tip number 6 is, okay, so this may sound a little strange, but this is something that I keep in mind because so tip number 6 is wear tight-fitting clothing. when you wear tight-fitting clothing, you might be a little more self-aware of how much you eat. You know, when you show up with like the sweatbands with the elastic band and you're like, listen, I'm here to eat, and if you want to, that's totally fine. I'm not judging you. No one's judging you. But I'm just saying, if you want to kind of watch yourself and really treat it like another dinner, then wear something a little more flattering, a little more, you know, showing of your stomach, so you're not walking around like stuffed. This is something that I do. I don't know if it's weird or not, but it just kind of keeps me in check a little bit, where, all right, I don't really feel like having my whole gut hanging out at this party, so I'm just going to wear a tighter fitting shirt or maybe jeans that I don't want to unbutton the top of it and let my whole stomach hang out at dinner. So that's tip number 6. Tip number 7 is, once you get to the party and you're having dinner, just compile your plate. You know, you want to have a balanced plate. So have it be, I know we've all heard this before, most likely, you want to make it about 50% of veggies. You want to make it about a quarter of protein, and then the other quarter of starchy carb, whatever it is. So just keep that in mind when you get to the dinner table. Just fill up on veggies first, and then have your proteins, which is probably your turkey, or if you're a vegan or a vegetarian, you know, your tofu or your beans or whatever it is, and then have the stuffing last. Chances are, you know I eat my whole plate, but you're just less likely to indulge if you just go for the starchy carb and have the stuffing first. Then you're like, okay, I'll have my turkey and gravy, and then I'll eat my veggies if I feel like it, which I know I don't like to really, after I kind of indulged, I really don't feel like having my salad or my roasted veggies after I've kind of filled up on the other stuff first. So I like to fill up on the veggies and the salads first, and then go for the protein, and then go for the starchy carb, and then the dessert. Okay, so that is tip number 7. Tip number 8 is focus on family and friends and not food. The holidays, especially Thanksgiving and these fancy dinners and parties, they have a very strong emphasis on food, but it's also about family and friends and being together and being grateful and appreciating one another. So if you just shift your focus from all of the food and on to your family and your friends, it just diffuses the situation a bit. So also, when you're sitting at dinner and, you don't want, after you had your first plate and you're kind of tempted to get a second plate, if you're still hungry, get a second plate. But if you're kind of sitting there and you're like, well, I don't know, I'm just sitting here, I'm bored, I might as well go get another plate, or everyone else is getting another plate, so I'm going to go get another plate. You can focus on family at that point by maybe getting on the floor, playing with your niece and your nephew, hanging around with the dog, coloring with the little ones, sparking a conversation with someone, maybe seeing if the dog needs to go for a walk. So kind of removing yourself from that situation where you might be likely to indulge, where you just don't need to, or take a break, and then if you're still hungry, go back and indulge and on a second plate. That's totally fine. So that's something that you can do if you are feeling tempted to indulge more than you would like to. So just remove yourself from the situation, take a breather, go get a glass of water, and then if you feel like you want to indulge more, totally fine. Tip number 9 is recognize triggers. Being around family is great and all, but sometimes our situations are not always ideal. Maybe we get triggered by certain people in our family. Maybe when we think about getting together on Thanksgiving, we're like, oh great, I'm going to hear this from my mom, or this from my aunt, or when am I going to do this? And it sets you off and it triggers you. So it might trigger you to have an extra drink, have an extra brownie, indulge in that second plate of food where you're just trying to just shut everyone up or remove that feeling. And so we indulge or we get frustrated. And so that's a trigger. Triggers kind of set us off into a downward spiral. And I'm very familiar with triggers because the triggers, when I shared in my a few episodes ago about my past eating disorder, triggers were the thing that set me off, that caused me to indulge in my eating disorder. And my eating disorder caused me to indulge in too much food. So triggers are something that I definitely have to watch out for, and I encourage other people to check in on themselves, because you may not even realize that, because I'm feeling irritated, or because I'm feeling bored, or because I'm feeling angry, that's causing me to eat more or have another drink or feel frustrated with someone or take it out on someone. So triggers can be tricky to navigate, but once you recognize what it is, whether it's great, my mom's going to ask me, when am I going to find a boyfriend? Or my dad's going to ask about this job, and Aunt Susie is going to talk about this. It's important to recognize what it is so that you can diffuse that situation as well. And the way to diffuse that is by taking a stand and recognizing what it is, and then using your voice and saying, I don't maybe feel like talking about this right now. Can we save this conversation for another time? I'm really just trying to enjoy my time here. Maybe try to avoid the situation or the person, or have a conversation with them beforehand. There's different ways to deal with it, but the first thing is to recognize the trigger. And I know that this is very common for most people getting back together with their family, the people that we love the most, that irritate us the most sometimes. So just take it with a grain of salt. Even if you take out your phone and write it down in your notepad, like, Aunt Susie is really pissing me off right now, and I really feel angry, and I really want to do this, or I really want to flip out and yell. So just write it down, take a second to journal in your notepad, and then delete it. And so just check yourself, check what's going on, and be aware of triggers. And tip number 10, I think this is tip number 10. I kind of lost track of numbers. But tip number 10 is just be aware of what it is you're drinking. Sometimes, whether it's alcohol or whatever beverage you choose, soda or a fruit drink, we think that it's healthier, but it's not always healthier. So when it comes to alcohol drinks, I actually have a whole download that I can share with you that I shared from a previous holiday that I'll link in the show notes, that can be helpful, because during the holidays, if you choose a drink, great. We can make healthier choices even when it comes to alcohol, because you don't want to do all the hard work and eating really well and then indulge in, the chocolate martini or the eggnog, and it counteracts all of your progress. Again, which is fine if you choose to have one, but just, you want to be aware of it and the consumption and the extra sugar and calories that you're consuming when you choose to drink those drinks. So anyway, with all that said, I hope that you've enjoyed these tips. These are tips that I keep in the back of my head, that I share with my clients when we're moving into this holiday season, and you want to just keep track and keep on top of yourself. As cheesy as it is, I know we're moving into the holiday season and Thanksgiving, and I am very, very, very grateful for you listening to this podcast, you tuning in with me today, and this little following that I have. So I'm grateful for you. Please be appreciative and grateful for all that you have, for your health, for your family, for the food that's going to be on your table for Thanksgiving and the holidays, for all the gifts and the joys that you have in this world. So that is it from me today. I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and I will catch you all next week.